Good afternoon, Alan Vandenberg here. Another episode of EQ for You, episode number 25 today. Today's episode is horrible leaders and EQ or emotional intelligence. We're operating off of the idea that 75% of a person or team success is not their IQ. So if you have not done so yet, you can purchase my book called EQ, Kill the Radio Star. High Emotional Intelligence Can Crush or Crash Your Organization. It looks just like that. You can certainly do that. You can do it at alanvandenberg.com, barnesandnoble.com, or amazon.com. So over the last couple of weeks, I've had the opportunity to be interviewed by my daughter Amber Vandenberg, who's the owner of the Pathways Group, and also do a presentation at the Executive Assistants Online Summit, again, over the last couple of weeks. And in both cases, the topic that we're going to talk about today came up in the Q&A session. And so over the years, as I've given EQ presentations or emotional intelligence presentations, people will often ask me about what to do about low EQ bosses or coworkers. So today I thought I'd take a few minutes and talk about that, and hopefully we can experience this a little bit together. Several years ago, I went through one of the darkest times in my professional career. There was a high-level leader in the organization that for some reason we did not connect. He didn't understand the role I was in as a leadership coach and as an EQ manager. It was the weirdest thing to me, because for the most part, people like me. As I began the process of what we called at the company integration into the work corporate culture, I could actually feel the problem getting worse and worse as we would have conversations. I tried multiple ways to connect and build relationships with this person, and I tried really hard. As a matter of fact, looking back, I probably tried too hard. To say our interactions were dysfunctional would be an understatement. I don't know if you've ever experienced that or not, but it's really difficult when you're trying to connect with somebody and you just can't do it. And I just couldn't figure out how to do it. The relationship continued to struggle, and the leader appeared to me anyway to be rather arrogant, sometimes disrespectful. He was definitely demeaning in a few instances to me, basically treating me like a child. It was a really weird thing. And it wasn't harassment necessarily like you would normally see it, but it felt like to me more of like a power play or a control situation. So this relationship began to really, really bother me. It began to affect me and my confidence, my self-talk, my focus. I began thinking about this relationship struggle and comparing it to all of my other positive relationships, and I couldn't figure it out. It began to affect my results, my effectiveness, and how I was producing or not producing at work. The result for me were unbelievable stress every single day on a daily basis. I felt like I was walking on eggshells every time I interacted with this high-level leader. And so it began to affect my confidence both inside of work and outside of work. I distinctly remember a Wednesday night playing guitar on stage and questioning to myself whether I could play guitar anymore. It was a really dark time for me. The lowest point occurred when I did a presentation on EQ during a business trip, and this high-level executive was in the audience, and they were present. A session I had presented hundreds of times was the worst EQ presentation of my life. It wasn't even close. I was stumbling, fumbling, things that I do just naturally, I'd done hundreds of times. I couldn't do it. It was awful. I don't know if the leaders seemed to enjoy it or not, but to me, it seemed like they did. So the question is, what do we do about low EQ behavior for leaders? How do we handle it? How do I handle it? How did I handle it? How do you end the drama? First, for those of you who've been in those situations that I've described, it is not easy to get out of the mindset, but it is possible. I had to do it. And for me to do it, I had to change. change my expectations, change my self-talk, and most importantly, I had to change my behavior. You see, I had no control over the high-level leader at all, zero control. I don't even know if he cared or not. That is irrelevant. It was my thought process, my self-talk, my emotions, and my behavior that was creating a terrible result for me. So what happens when you're getting terrible results? You have to change, and I had to change. Ourselves is the only thing we have control over. So how do you deal with a low EQ, emotional intelligence boss or coworker? To get a different result, you must change your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. When I give EQ presentations or conclude an EQ episode for you episode, like I'm going to do today, I am with 3 thoughts of encouragement for you. These thoughts were created as I began to rebound from this awful situation in dealing with this high-level leader. I use it today to help coach others and encourage myself and others. What are these 3 encouraging statements? 1, find what you do in life and do that to the best of your ability. Number 2, don't allow anyone or anything to steal your joy and your happiness. And number 3, live life every day because nothing is guaranteed. Those 3 words of encouragement came out of these dark days for me, the ones that I had to change. It was a difficult time in my career for sure, but I did make it through because I changed, not them. I changed, not others. Why do I love to present, write, and coach and teach people on emotional intelligence and the emotional quotient principles? It's because I believe EQ tools and principles can change people's lives. It did mine. It can help people in their careers. It can help you in your career. It's helped me in mine. It can help others overcome the dark days of having and working around a low EQ boss or a low EQ coworker. If you've been dealing with a difficult relationship at work, inside or outside of work, how can you change your thought process, your self-talk, your emotions, and your behavior to create a better result for you? That's the question. So hopefully this was helpful for you today. It's been a long time since I've been through this situation, but it reminded me over the last couple of weeks when we were talking in the Q&A sessions on the presentations that I've given. It reminded me of this dark day, and I really wanted to share it with you and encourage you that you can get through it, but you have to do it. So I leave you with the 3 things, words of encouragement, thoughts to think on, if you will. Find what you do in life and do that to the best of your ability. Don't allow anyone or anything to steal your joy or your happiness. And number 3, live life every day because nothing is guaranteed. All right, hopefully this was helpful. Be sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Reach out to me on social media. I'd love to stay connected with you. All right, have a great day.